Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. Due to YouTube's changing quote-unquote community standards, I created a channel called Grumpy Old Fart over on Rumble, a free speech alternative to YouTube. You can see all of my stuff over there, including my political and social commentary, as well as my current events videos. The links to my YouTube and Rumble channels, as well as links to let you order my books, are in the description of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an advanced Dungeons & Dragons advice video on Thieves. For those of you who don't know, Thieves are the primary scouts. They for a group of players. When you're in a dungeon crawl, they're the guys who are up front checking for traps and picking locks and doing the stuff thieves do. They're the crafty ones. They have to think outside the box. They have to figure ways around problems. They're the problem solvers. And most people enjoy running thieves. Some people are not real adept at running thieves because they don't have the mindset for it. And I completely understand that. Some people are better playing fighters or wizards or whatever. And that's cool. Everybody's different. If everybody was the same, the world would be a dull place, right? However, when the thief is part of the group and they're out adventuring, the thief is a very, very valuable player, a valued character. When they're in town, thieves are less, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not the most upstanding players, characters in the world. They require specific items, like specific tools, lockpicks, that kind of thing. They pick pockets. If they're part of a guild, they're beholden to that guild. Many thieves who travel with groups don't belong to a guild, or they pay their dues but rarely ever make it back to that town, which, I don't see the need for that. But the point I'm getting at is, if a thief is living in a town, sometimes they might want to be involved with a guild. Otherwise, they're independent and the guild may not appreciate them very much. If they're out adventuring, it doesn't matter. But if they're but if the adventure is in a town, then you gotta have it's a consideration. That's all I'm saying. The first thing I'm going to do here is go for the kits that thieves purchase. Many of the thieving abilities require certain tools: picking locks, opening doors, that kind of thing. Checking for traps. They have a kit called Thieves Picks and Tools, and starting thieves generally buy those, and most dungeon masters don't put a lot of thought into what's in a kit like that. So I figured I'd put some stuff in here and this is by no means a complete list. There are classes that require specific tool kits, but the thief one is really the only one that comes to mind. I assume the clerics and the wizards and like that have kits as well, but those are less. They're not automatically put on the list. You know what I'm saying? Thieves' picks and tools are on the list to buy, so that's what I'm going to go with here. The standard set of thieves' tools that I use in my game, it's a pouch with a shoulder strap, and it contains, here we go, assorted lockpicks, 200 feet of twine, a small hammer, a screwdriver, pry bar or nail remover, chisels, some wood ones and some metal ones, a little bit of an assortment there, a small vial of acid in a little glass vial, and it's wrapped so to keep it safe so it doesn't break open. Climbing spikes, cushioned cloth for sound. In other words, if you need to break a window, you can put this cloth over it and give a little punch, and it breaks the glass, and it doesn't have that loud glass breaking sound. Cushion pads for your boots so that you can put these on and it helps with moving silently. A carrying bag, which the stuff is in. The carrying bag that the kit comes in. 10 assorted key blanks. A wax impression box. Essentially, you can make keys. brace and a bit, assorted probes, a mirror on a rod, a whetstone, a knife and sheath, a tinderbox. Tinderbox, I'm going to do that as well, I think. A tinderbox generally comes with flint and steel, and but it's bigger than that, what's required for that, so that you can put in kindling to start the fire the next night, a miniature lantern, a file, a flask of oil, a small funnel, 3 candles, tiny blades. Sometimes you can take a coin and sharpen the edge. That's good for cutting purse strings. Magnifying lens, small saw, a jimmy. If you don't know what a jimmy is, it's used for slipping locks and things like that. Pliers, 3 small bags, a crowbar, wax impression box, I already did that one, a sheet of mica, a hand drill, a listening horn for listening to tumblers, a small mirror, and a lodestone. That's what generally comes in my Thieves Picks and Tools kit. Many thieves sew small pockets and such into their clothing so that much of this gear can be hidden about their person, secretly and unseen. Other thieves modify their gear so that it appears as common items. Lockpicks can be disguised as hairpins, for example. Inventive players can come up with all kinds of clever workarounds. Thief characters are best run by players who can think outside the box, so keep that in mind. Now, when you're in town as a thief, the guilds are something you need to be very concerned with. Guilds are something one finds to be very prevalent in my world. Guilds of all kinds exist there. Merchants guilds, labor guilds, wizards guilds, mercenary guilds, teamsters guilds, farmers guilds, ranchers guilds, hunters guilds, carpenters guilds, masons guilds. Literally all manner of guilds exist in my world. And yes, there are thieves guilds as well. Thieves who belong to a thieves guild are expected to pay dues, but they are also expected to pay a portion of all gains made while on a job from the guild. So if the guild offers you a job and you take it, you have to pay a portion of that to the guild as of the proceeds, as well as your dues. And on independent jobs, the thieves may keep all of their proceeds. However, guild members are expected to check with the guild regarding any businesses they wish to rob in case those businesses are paying for protection, because that happens a lot. If the thief requires assistance from the guild, like manpower, specialists, information, equipment, etc., then the guild will demand a cut, as well as payment for those helping. If the thief requires fencing services for smuggling or smuggling services for stolen items, the guild will charge a hefty fee depending on the item and how easy it will be to move. If you steal something there's only one of and it's well known, you're not going to sell that in that city. They're going to have to smuggle that out and take it someplace else, or maybe melt it down for example, a large gold necklace with gems all over it, and everybody knows what it is. Everybody in town knows who owns it. If you steal that, you're not going to be able to sell that in town. They'll either have to smuggle it out and sell it elsewhere, or melt it down, to go to a smith and melt it down, get the gems out, that kind of thing. So it becomes a process, and the guild can help with that, but they are going to charge you for it. Small items, and they're not so much worried about. Your dues will cover that, but I'm talking big items. As far as the Thieves Guild itself goes, the amount of help a guild can provide and the amount of control they can exert is based on how big and powerful the guild is. A small-sized guild can fence stolen goods and might be able to smuggle goods out of the city. They may be able to organize small groups for jobs. Memberships usually 15 to 20 people. 15 to 20 or 25 people. That's about it. A medium-sized guild can do all of that and probably has between 6 to 20 low-level officials on the payroll. They have a number of illegal rackets going on, including protection schemes and organized crews for jobs. But it's all, they don't exert a lot of influence in the town. A large guild has a lot of power. Think a mafia family. They have a lot of power. Large guilds can cover for activities and find believable patsies, scapegoats, to pacify official investigations. They are well connected. They have many low-level officials will resist investigating anyone linked to the major guild for fear of being visited by some of their operatives. Thugs, or in modern parlance, torpedoes, Now, multiple guilds can operate in the same city or area. Sometimes it's beneficial to have more than one. For example, 2 different guilds operating, but they have a working relationship together. They're not allies per se, but they play off of each other. In other words, Guild A takes protection money from this business for, to keep them from getting robbed, and none of the thieves from there rob them. However, the business gets robbed. They immediately go to their guild that they pay protection to and say, "Hey, what happened?" Guild A can say, "Oh no, it was Guild B. They did it. We'll have to work. We'll have to find some way to get you, to get back with them." And whether they do or not is up to them. But they have a scapegoat, and Guild B does the same thing to Guild A. In reality, Guild A probably robbed their own people, and even though they were taking protection money. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes guilds do that. Now, guilds who don't work together, who operate in the same town, probably won't like each other very much, and open warfare may ensue. So it just depends on how well they work together and what the situation is. Of course, there are no hard and fast rules that force a thief to join a guild. Not being part of a guild grants a certain amount of leeway and freedom. Unfortunately, when an ungilded thief operates in an area where a guild is prevalent, the guild may take offense at it. Not being part of a guild means that the thief has no access to fences, smugglers, or other specialists. So, if you get a chance, read up on the sections in the Player's Handbook and the DMG, the Dungeon Master's Guide, on thieves guilds. The books have a wealth of information useful to your games. I would recommend that you read up on all of that. And how you do your games is pretty much up to you. There's no real wrong way to play as long as the rules are consistent and everybody's having fun. As your job, as a dungeon master, that's your job, making sure everybody's having fun. I treat the larger thieves guilds kind of like the Sopranos, Tony Soprano and the Mafia family, and it works really well. That's a consideration for your game. And again, you don't have to take any of my advice. I'm just trying to help you. I've been doing this a long time. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all. We elect cookie-cutter politicians every single election cycle. Yes men who maintain the status quo and do just enough to make us believe the system still works. Imagine, if you will, a president who actually tries to fix things. If you like action, political intrigue, and a righteous crusade, check out my political thriller, The Righteous President.